Hi everyone, and welcome to this last webinar from the Udacity Nano Degree on React. I am very happy. I have a mix of feelings. I'm very happy because this is the last one, the last webinar. It's been 4 amazing months helping you reach the end of the Nano Degree, and in the other hand, I'm sad because it's ending. I hope these webinars helped you going through the lessons. Congratulations for the two students that have graduated today. I saw that Junko graduated, so congratulations, very well done. There are like three of you that are pending for the last project. For the others, just we will keep in touch to help you get into the correct path. So even that we are finishing these webinars, I will be available over the Slack channel at Udacity for next weeks until you graduate for helping you with anything you need. Remember, you have the one-on-one mentorship by screen sharing or phone. And well, yeah, I will give you my email to if you want to follow me later after the course has finished. So let's dip into this webinar. Okay, so the instruction says that we have to talk today about notifications in React Native. So if you go to the mobile environment, you will see that you have two types of notifications, the local notifications and the push notifications. Local notifications are just, you don't need anything, you just need the device, the mobile device, just turn on and you can create that your mobile application throws notifications to the user. Push notifications are more complex because they need some server that which handling the user ID or device ID to know when to push notifications to that device and manage these things. So in the Nano Degree, they show you local notifications, but they don't show you push notifications. If we go to the the local notifications here, I clicked twice. So I am not going to focus on these notifications today because you had the link for the lesson in class 5 in native features, and you just see like how they are managed, the local notifications. It's very easy to implement. If you have any problem, just contact me or I will create another video for next week or anything you need. So I understood that it was better so we could dive deeper into push notifications in the Nano course because it's an area of front end development about they don't show you how to build a server, how to manage the push notifications. But from my point of view, I thought that this is the most important thing about a mobile app. You know, once you finish your Nano degree and you want to build applications, real world applications, you have to upload them to the stores and have some kind of push notifications. I understand how they work, even that you are not going to be a full stack developer and you are just going to be front end, just to understand how they work. So we are going to see my project. I prepare you a project like the previous ones, like we had here. For example, this is the repository we are going to use. I've been creating it this week, and you have its name is React Native Push Example, and things we are going to use. You will see the things important, but you have the how to install the guide because it has 3 projects inside. How you should see the as you see we'll have a server sending things. I think I have this in the screens of the presentation, but I will talk about it nevertheless. So I create a web interface where you just write what you want to send to the device, and you will have an mobile app just with this kind of a screen where you will see if the notification has appeared or not, and the icon there with Expo and the server working. So this is the you have the instructions to run it if you want. It's just only has one branch, but the 13 commits. So that's what we are going to use. So let me go here again. So yeah, so push notifications. Yeah, let's check the repo and see the final project in action. So what I'm going to do is to show you how I'm going to run everything first. So if we come here, I am in the folder. I don't remember what was the option to make this bigger or to be to make this I always forget how to I don't remember anything. Resize, moved monitor, I don't remember how this was. I don't remember. Sorry if let me because I think it's too small. Let me go here and Tilix Tilix is terminal the terminal I use. Sorry. So me and increase the screen size. I just don't remember the control control no. No. Oh, plus. Okay, yeah, crazy. So I am in the folder. As you can see, we have the packages folder, and we will explain this later. But to run, I think it's better to see the project overview here, how it's done. You will see, okay, this part. So it's built with young workspaces. I wanted to add something newer, so we are going to focus on using hooks instead of classes in the most of the cases, so you can use state and use effect properly, because I think that's something you should be using once you graduate. And we are using young workspaces that we can build packages inside our projects, and we have the mobile, the server, and the web. So the mobile just it's a simple screen which shows notification data. The server is the one that will manage our notification, and the website just to send the notification, as you saw. And common is just for the URL, server URL that it's used by this web and the mobile. So with this in mind, now we can see that we have these packages, and we can go first if we go to the server. Okay, so now I think I can do another screen here. So if we go to the server, okay, we just do a start, and we have the example app listening on port 3000. I just didn't do anything here. Something we need to do for working for making available this server for the mobile application and these kind of things, it's something called a tunnel. So we can't use ngrok for make this port in my computer visible from the outside. So now if I run this this command, I have this forwarding URL that now everyone can access from my outside to my computer. So now, because I have the port of the server in 3000, I just open that port with the from ngrok. And now we can go to ZD common. This is just for you to understand how this works. And here in this server URL, I just copy paste my new URL, and now we come here, can install. Okay, just to update all the dependencies because my package, my mobile and web package needs the common package, so they both know the URL. So now we can build the web, for example, and can start to build the website. Because it's busy, the port 3000, I will say, okay, just run it in another port. As you see, that now it's loading the website. I prefer you to see how to launch this, and if you want to copy the code, because I didn't have the time to make just I want to have the console open as always. So this is the website working. Okay, and now what we do is just run the mobile app. Always John start. So now we have sorry if I didn't put the and we're going to use later for running my application. I'm going to run it in my mobile, so I'm just going to check E and send it to my default email because I'm logged in and I've used it. So my link for opening the app will be here. So later we are going to use Visor, and we will connect my mobile phone by USB, so you can see through Visor what happens. It's a free usage app, and it lets you 15 minutes of viewing Android. Later it pushes an advertisement, so sorry if we get to that point. So now we have some things working. I'm going to leave how everything works until the end, okay, or into the middle, because we need to go further. So how we are going to use Expo push notifications SDK. Of course, this is not the most advanced feature because some of you will eject your applications from Expo and use React Native and go with the native way of doing the push notifications. But because the most important part of this nano degree is to use in Expo and embrace it, and later learn how to eject applications from the Expo environment. That would be for a advanced nano degree, I think, or something like that. But you can contact me for this kind of things if you want me to upload to the YouTube channel videos about this. But we are going to use Expo Push Notifications SDK. It's very easy, and it lets us understand how push notifications work. If you have worked with Android native applications, or myself, I worked before with Ionic framework, Ionic 3, I remember, and it's more or less the same. Even that's we are using Expo server. Maybe if you want to make GoPro, you want to have your server talking to Google. But I think this is a very good final video for you to learn things that are not in the nano degree. So push notifications appear in three ways. For the first part, it's save the user's Expo push token in our server. We have to identify which device is each, so we know that this is my Carlos phone. So if we want to notify Carlos, we have to send it to the device where I have a push token that identifies this phone. This is that token. Now with that token, we can call the push Expo push API to send messages. We say, okay, Expo, I have in my server this token. I want to send this message. So please, Expo, send these things to the Google and iOS notification systems and in my behalf. And in the third part of the Expo push notifications would be handling while the user has received or selected the notification. This part we can't go deep in this because it's a 1 hour webinar, so it's not very. Remember, you can chat any question you have or doubt you have, or so we can address it in the live video. So in the first part, we're going to see. Sorry, in the first part we're going to see. Okay, so for because later applications, later screens of this presentation are just code and links to the GitHub repository. I just want to explain the most important part things at the beginning, and later just go with the code. Okay, so for the first part, okay, as you see, Expo will identify the device with Google and Apple, so we don't have to do that extra work. So Expo is a very nice tool. So we have to create the mobile device on the device. So in this case, every time the components, the app.js component is up, it's mounted, we create a token and send it to the, we create the token. In real application, it's just when the mobile device, the application is installed. But I didn't want to build the application to make this work. And send it to our server and have an endpoint in our server that stores it to work with it later. Okay, this is the first part. And the second part is just use the Expo Push API, and they made lots of implementations in the different code in the different languages. We're going to use to the Node part. We just with yarn add Expo Server SDK we have it working, and we don't need anything more. But if we are using Android and we want to use a build without Expo, or we eject from it, or as you will see, if we want to use the second generation notifications that the receipts, how we know if there was an error on the notification, we will need to give Expo the server key of Firebase Cloud Messaging. The Firebase Cloud Messaging, FCM, is how Google lets say you that you can manage push notifications for Android. Okay, but because that's complex, I was thinking about explaining a webinar with just Firebase and these kind of things, because this, even that I use Ubuntu and I use Android, I think it's not fair for iOS users just to focus on Firebase Cloud Messaging. So with Expo, we can see how things works for both devices, and how we would do things for iOS notifications, and we will be doing that for Android. So I'm very excited for this webinar because I think it gets more things for you that in the part of the notifications of the webinar, of the official documentation. So I think it's nice. And the third part is just selecting and receiving notifications. It's important to say that when we have the application forwarded, that it's open and inside our eyes, in iOS applications, we don't receive the notification. Okay, that's default behavior from iOS. So we could make something for managing these notifications manually. So I will do this for Android because Android it's optional, because Android always shows the notifications, but I am used to not seeing notifications of application that it's forwarded. So in iOS comes by default, and in Android they show you the notifications. But when you are using WhatsApp or WeChat or Twitter, if you are in the view, you don't get icons of Twitter just working. So I think that's the most relevant work. So that's how we would be beginning to do things. So before going to the code, now I want to show you how this works. So I'm going to connect my mobile to the to the to let me check. Let me check first, as I don't know if this is working properly, because always we have this kind of. Okay, I have everything working, and adjustments. Let me. Sorry. Um, ah, debugging. Debugging. So now everything is working, but it's not working. It's not being shown my mobile device here. Why it's not showing? Let me move my mouse here, because I'm using the same my same. I don't know why it's not working. Okay, today now it's not working. I can show you the. I don't know why is this happening, but it's nice to see that. Well, I have broken one. So let me check this. Okay, this is working. Let me, because nothing is working right now in my computer. Well, everything is broken. I don't know what's happening right now. Let me ensure. Okay. Okay. 1 minute, maybe the sound is out. Uh-huh. Okay, now I have this working, and let me check. Okay, now I have transfer adjustments. Let me check if you listen to me now that we have the Poco there. So debugging, open the debugging options, accept, and now, yeah, view the device. So yeah, now we can see my device. Sorry for that. So everything that it's shown here. Okay, so let me. Okay, that's whoa, 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 whoa. Okay, so we have this. This is my mobile. So it's I'm going to put the caffeine modes so it doesn't go to sleep. And let me check everything. So okay, sorry for that from the in-game. Don't see it. Okay, I have a message from a student. So Expo, I have the Expo link now because I sent it before. So now we click over here. Remember, this is my device. This is my mobile device working here, but it's tunneled for the computer. So just don't think that it's the emulator, because over the emulator you can see the push notifications. They don't work. You need a real device. That's why now I have USB connected, but you don't see the percentage in the screen. It's built in the JavaScript bundle. It's on the 45%. So just give it a minute and we will be working with our so let me move this upstairs so we can work with it. Okay, so maybe I can move this outside here. Okay, okay, so yeah, I'll support it. Wow, okay, sorry for that. And yeah, I know that it's supported, but you want, okay, we are in our application. Okay, this is the mobile application. We just here, it's an app.js front-end application where just says here will appear notification if some appear. And so we can say, okay, I want to send a notification. Let me check if look, the server just received the push token while this was loading. So now the exponent push token T2 la la la, this TC is the token that we will be using for sending to this mobile device. For this device, it's Carlos' device is this token. So now, because we have that, we can't. I can't prepare. So just say okay, notify. Hi Carlos. This is the notification number 1. We send it, and as you see now we are not showing a notification because this is the final piece where I just wrap it as we would do in iOS and show it in the app. So we read the notification, we dismiss it, and because if you see, we don't have here the notification. We have sorry for the Spanish words. It's my phone, my personal phone. So this is how would we working, but we can't put the application in the background. Just close. This is notification number 2, and we can say hi again. Carlos, as you see, receive message. This is notification number 1. The server is managing things, and we click, and we can see the network. We see then the message is working, sending to the here. So everything works, and we send it. This is the notification number 2. Here, sorry, you don't see the notifications because it's the. But if I move it down, you see, hi again, Carlos. This is notification number 2. We click on it, and now the application just shows you as the title, the message, the origin, that we will see what it is, and some data. I didn't take into account to pretty show this, but it has, for example, information about if this was a notification where we wanted to navigate to a screen. Usually, you want to show them a particular screen of your device, so it says the name of the screen, so your navigator will say, okay, navigate to user settings, user ID is 123 or whatever, and this is the title and the message. So you can send data that it's not shown. So hope that this is something you like. So that's why I was very happy about this webinar, because I think we can do lots of things, or you can do lots of things with the things that are in this presentation. So now we go to the code, and we'll explain what we can about how things happen. Remember, this is not just a front-end webinar. It's just about building a website, an application that you saw it, but a little server. It's just Node with Express, so it's not big. Okay, what do we do? First, we create the setup with the mobile application. We are going to do this with workspaces, with Young workspaces. So we go to a folder, and we create the Expo init mobile. Okay, so this is inside. We are doing this in a folder called packages. Okay, so as you saw before, we create, my awesome project. We go into that directory, and we create a packages directory. Inside that packages directory, we create an Expo init mobile. So we create the Expo init mobile. Everything is created by us, and we add the name of the project. This is the package. This is the package.json that it's outside of the packages. So we add. Let me show you. I don't have code here, but yes. Let me show you. Well, I will show you later because I don't want to spend most time. So you have in the root place, you have a package.json. If you see the Django workspaces documentation, it's very easy, and you follow the commits. You will see that we have a package.json that says, okay, we are going to have some workspaces inside, and our workspaces will be called package, have packages, and are inside this directory packages, and everything inside that are modules we want to use. The name of the project. And now inside that root, we create Expo init mobile. That creates a mobile folder with everything created for running a mobile application. And we create, for example, a server folder. So now we would be creating everything. We will be needing to manage little things for the Django workspaces working. Just add private true for the package.json on mobile, on server. But because I'm not explaining Django workspaces, I just want to use them and for you to have an application working with them and with the typical errors that you could find with React Native and Red Web and Node. So just keep along. So if we want to create Node server, we are inside the server folder. As you see, we have name. I just name it low. My avatar name, React Native push. I think it should have been n push notifications, but the server is private true, and the version. These are the two versions because we are going to add these packages, so we have to say always the version. And just because I want to use imports and these kind of things, I just add Yarn at Express. Remember that Yarn init a package.json. We go there and we update it with how we want it. We Yarn at Express to have a server framework easier to manage. We add the Yarn at Expo server SDK. Well, as I explained to you before, that's the one that manages the push tokens and sends and contacts the Expo server for managing our push notifications, and the development dependencies, bubble client, bubble preset env are just for using import and export and this kind of ECMAScript 6 in our server without having to do anything. If you go to the commit, you see that we create also the .bubble rc file. I wanted to give you to something more advanced, but it's not very confusing because so if you go to this commit, you have always the commits, the changes that are done there, more or less all of them work. So we've been into the first commit is setting up workspaces and Expo init app, just the workspaces for mobile and server. Later, the build no server with Express and mobile, just building it, just it doesn't have anything. And now we create. For those who are here, if we come, I'm going to open the code because I just took little parts of the code. So Expo server, let me remove everything. It's just okay. This is the final project. Okay, it's here. So in the server, we create an index file, and this is from everything from Express. It says you okay, just require Express or import Express. create an app express, and this will you see later. And now you have the app get dash and send hello world and the app listen. These are the app dot listen the port, the how to get to this route, and a bar express, and this would be the initial code you would need to have for running the Node.js server. You will be seeing this example app listening on port 3000. And if you went to localhost 3000 slash, you will see hello world printed because that's what it's shown. So coming from the basis that you know something about Express, this is what I show you. And because I create two endpoints for managing our calls. I want to call to the server, and remember the ngrok URL dash token. I want an endpoint that, okay, this endpoint is going to save the user token, and the another endpoint, the message endpoint, is going to receive a message, and once it receives with the push tokens saved, will send and connect to the Google and iOS servers and everything like that. So what I implement, this save token and send message are implemented in another file, the Expo server, that has these things. So that would be an import and these kind of things. But it's important that they are both post methods. So if we have, we just say, okay, console log, what I receive a post token, console log, I receive a message, and just send the response. Okay, I receive post tokens, and for everything being, always the servers have to answer every request. And as we know now, just the save token, what it does, has an array that is save push tokens, and every time it's just if that token isn't there, just push the new token to the array. So and the send message is just console logs and send messages because we don't want to go deeper in that. So now we would have built the server that's it's showing this message. Okay, this message would be working right now with that simple code. Of course, we need to add to the application the code to. Here, for example, add mock handlers for tokens and messages. I don't think. Yeah, this is the same. Yeah, it's the same. It's the same Git. I added the body parser just for things to work. So Jan add body parser. If not, you have an error with trying to read this. If you are trying to read this request body token value, it's not in JSON, and you can't get to them. So just I show this here that okay, we need to parser the URLs and parser to JSON and these kind of things, just for you to know that you need that. So if not, things would be breaking. So taking into consider that with that information, you have more information about how to build the server and things like that. So I hope you like it. Okay, so now we go to app mobile. Let me check if you have something. Okay, so if now we are in our app mobile application, so we remember that we created an Expo in its mobile application, but if we are working with Yarn workspaces, what it does is that if you are here, let me show you something nice about Yarn workspaces here, is that okay, here we have the node modulus, and in the root we have all the node modulus, and if you go to the packages, for example, all the things that are needed for these modules are in the parents. These are just references for the things that are here. So we just need to run yarn install from the root, and all the packages are updated, so we can use them as it is. But there is a problem with how, if you try to run the generated code, if you try to do Yarn start in the mobile application using Yarn workspaces, you will have a problem. But the Expo team has Expo Yarn workspaces, and if you install it and follow this guide, and you have this commit for solving a start script for Expo workspaces in React Native, you will have that's working. So, for example, for me, it was like the first time I tried to add Yarn workspaces to my project. I think it's nice to learn to use them, and use them or not whenever you need. But the first time, I think I spent 2 nights trying to solve this, because I wasn't going to the proper docs for Expo. And I think it's nice for you to have these kind of solutions. So it's my gift for ending the nano degree for you. So that's just information. Okay. So remember, I told you that was like advanced project. But okay. So now we go. Now that we could be at this point, we would be having a server running, an application running with just the default app.js documentation. So now we're going to register the token. So what we do is just create a register for push notifications, asynchronous, and this what does is just checks for what we see here is imports from Expo the permissions and notifications. It's imported from Expo. That's missing, and just waits for, okay, what's the existing status for the permission for being notified. When I ran it in the Expo apps, they didn't ask for me for these things, because I in the Expo application it's granted from previous installations. So you for checking this properly, you would have to build your app and install it from the APK, or if it's Android or in iOS, in their way to check for the permissions. But this just, okay, if it's not granted, okay, just ask asynchronous for the permissions and wait it. If again they don't give you the permission, just return. So it's like, okay, I check for the, if previously the user checked give the permission for being notified. If we are not granted, we ask for the permission. If after asking for that permission, the user that doesn't allow us, okay, we return. We don't make anything more. We don't push we don't create the token, and we don't send it. This token awaits asynchronous, just gets get expo push token asynchronous. So as you see, we will see how this fetch. This part is when we after we create the token, we send that token to our server. But as you see, we just have, okay, sets. I think, yeah, as you see, use effect register for push notification asynchronous. I had the handle notification and notification message text. That's because I follow the official guides. It's not needed on this, okay? But so now if we go to the project, but this use effect is the hooks for like component did mount. So in every time it's mounted, I think it's forgotten every time it's updated. I would have to have added here an empty array to avoid something. But for this lesson, and now we just using fetch API without Axios, just for easier, we just call the push registration endpoint. This endpoint is created in the common package, and it's where we went to the to update the ngrok URL. So this is just the ngrok URL dash token. So the headers, the body is the token, and username because I want to. So as you see here, it was from the previous option. This is the local host 3000, but the mobile application didn't need it. So this is how now, if we try to work over the emulator, we will see that errors and possible unhandled promise rejection must be on physical device to get an Expo push token. So here in the real device, we have what you see. For example, listening on port 3000, request body token value, wherever, and the user. Okay, so what you saw in the running application. Okay, now we want to add a message, because this is because I showed you the end project at the beginning. We just send it a message with the title, with extra information. So I just want to create another package, another module. We create the create React app web. So we go there. We add the Expo server SDK, because the server and the web app needs to communicate to them. Let me check, because maybe I think we don't need this. I think we installed it, but finally I didn't need it. I will check it later. Okay, so we have our app, just the original app, and what we create here is just, okay, we have a text, with this I didn't use hooks here, so just normal. We have an input with this state message, and on change updates the message with the target value, and on click we send the message, and the send message, it's okay. Yeah, we don't need the package I installed. I don't know why it's there. I just will remove it. So by message endpoint, that it's the local host ngrok tunnel URL with dash message, with cross origin false and body, we just send this state message stringified, and now we can send it to our server. So now we have an application that registered the push notification, and we have a web application that let us write a text and send it to the server, and the server needs to send it to the application. So we had only the send message had only a console log hello, the message sent. So here there is a lot of code, so it's just from the mgit repository. So we just add, okay, in send message I want to have an array of notifications. The save push tokens, remember that was a constant, a global constant for that file, so it was upside here. So if it's not a valid Expo push token, we will say, okay, it's not valid. And for all the notifications, in the notifications array, we are going to push the token, the message, body, and the message. Okay, so we're going to pass it, and we create these notifications, because Expo batches all a group of notifications together and send them. So so that's why it has an array. And later, okay, says, okay, just create the chunks, create little pieces of the notifications, and for these chunks, send these push notifications. Okay, we have these asynchronous. This would be the receipts, but really it's tickets. We will see there, but it's like the response. Okay, we send the push notifications, and with this, now we have it in our phone. Later, we will see how things appear later, but now we have them in our phone. So, what happens when we go to our phone? Okay, that is when we come into the notification.origin parameter. So we can have a value of received, a value of selected, or non a value. Okay, received is when the app is open and forwarded. So usually the behavior where in iOS they are not shown, and in Android, in my case, I want to make them appear in a modal. Selected, they are like when you clicked. Selected is just, okay, it's clicked, someone clicked on the notification. This is, okay, we have the application closed, it's not backgrounded, it's closed, and we opened the application through a push notification. So that notification with the origin will be selected, and when the application is backgrounded but open and with the notification is selected. Okay, so in the other cases, when if the open I think it's not open and backgrounded. I think it's I copy paste here because it's not nothing when it's open and backgrounded and the notification not selected. I imagine when not open, the notification not selected. Okay, so we want to manage notifications. We go to our app.js file where we didn't have anything, and we want to show, okay, if notification, remember, we have here the header notification, set notification. Yeah, we have, let me show you, I don't know if we have this here in my project. This is something that watching the project you will see. Okay, register notifications. Okay. Let me. Okay, yeah. We had in the previous code, as I don't remember if I shown it because it's something. Let me check. Okay. Oh no, this is the server, mobile, web app, web app, web app. Restart talking. Yeah. Look, we had the handle notification to set a notification inside here, but in this code, I didn't show you the this part. This notifications and listener. In this case, I move it up because after the return being asynchronous, it wasn't being called, and just I move it above. So in this new managing notifications, if it wasn't in the previous commit, you have to add it here. But it's before in the register push notifications previously we had the ask for permissions, and here we were creating the token and we were sending the registration push token. But we had also a listener for the notifications, and we said, okay, every time for the Expo, this Expo gives us the notifications parameter and the so now notifications. Okay, sorry, I was watching an email from a student. A student, a listener. So before we had this method at listener, and we say, okay, every time a notification comes, pass it to the handler notification. So we have to describe what we want to do with it, and we say, okay, we set notification to notification. This is the set state for the notification. We had in the previous works the use state const notification, set notification, use state null. This is for the hooks. It's just a state for the notification. So there are a lot of things. I have to go fast because we are reaching the hour, but I wanted you to have this. So now, because every time a notification appears, we will have a notification object updated in view. Now we can say if we don't have a notification, show the previous text, and if we have a notification, show its origin and its data. So that's what we would be showing. But we want to hide notifications. We want to hide notifications when the app is notification has a state received. Remember, but the app is active, is in the foreground. So for using this, we need to use the app state. Okay, and we use just a variable that says, okay, let app state is equal to active or whatever you want. And I think this we have app state current state, but at the end I left it as a state. We have, okay, so This app state is something from Expo that tells you when every time that there is a change in the focus of the app, if it's backgrounded, foregrounded, closed, open, it gives you this at event listeners, advent listeners. The use effect, it's the hooks for, okay, this part would be equal to component dit mounts. The things inside the return function would be equal to the component will amount, and with this we tell it to just run on the mount, not on every update. Okay, so this is for use effect from the hooks, so it's very nice for you to see them. Just go to any YouTube explanation in 10 minutes, or for the documentation. I think if you read them and play with them, you will be very happy. So we just have to pass them, okay, handle app state change, and I say just this app state variable will be to the states provided by the handle. I just did it as a normal variable because I didn't want the view to be re-rendered or anything. It's because just the view is appearing and disappearing, and it has its own render, re-render behaviors about other things. So if we change this as a state, it will be mess up things. So that's why it's just so in the handle notification, where we just were like setting notification as notification, now we have, okay, if we are in app state active and the notification origin is received, so this means it's not selected, it's just appearing in the tray, and the application is active. What we're going to do is just dismiss the notifications, make it disappear, and we use this method with a notification which comes a notification ID. And in my example, I just say, okay, make an alert on, okay, notification title, and this would be a custom in-app notification instead of system one, as app is on the foreground and active, because we didn't go into managing the messages information, and we just put the set notification into null. Now we have a lot of information about how this message, this notification can be can have two parameters: data, title, body, time to leave, expiration, priority, subtitle, sound, batch, category, channel ID. So here you have all the kind of parts you need. So the 2 is just a string that represents the Expo token specifying the recipient of this message. The data is the JSON object delivered to our app. You need to be its maximum 4 kilobytes, because if not, Apple and Google will set your message to big error. Okay, so it's important to know that. The title, when we want to display notification, the body is just the message of the application or notification. Time to leave is number of seconds of which the message may be kept around for redelivery. Usually it's default to undefined. Expiration is the same as time to leave, but instead of seconds, it's in timestamp information. So the priority, delivery priority of the message, default or omit this field to use the default priority on its platform, which is normal on Android and high on iOS. So that you have more information about this in the docs. Subtitle, they say that subtitle, sound, batch, and category are iOS specific fields, and channel ID is Android specific fields, but you will see that in one of these parameters they talk about Android. So we would have to go deeper about this to play, and we can manage. But the subtitle is to display notification below the title. It should be only for iOS. The sound, a sound to play when I think that we should be able to use this in Android as also, but as you see, maybe there is one place, but the batch number to display in the batch on the app icon specifies 0 to clear the batch. Usually, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 batches icons and these kind of things. Category ID of the notification category through which to display this notification, and the one for only Android, that is just the ID of the notification channel through which to display this notification on Android devices. So if you see, we have the category ID is notification category in iOS, and the channel ID is the notification channel for Android. So this was what you need. Okay, so what we are doing now is, okay, building a better message body. So instead of just sending hi, we want to say, okay, I want to manage. I'm changing our server. For example, now the message is, okay, sound default. As you see, sound is for Android also. Title, body, and data. That is the whole message. Title, message title, body, message body. And now this would be working. We just have this working now, and this is the message. And now we pass message instead of body. These are the changes that we have from the previous code. We go to the web, and now we create another input text for the body. We change it title and body. We have the state inside, and in the send message we just pass. We make the differentiations. Now we have the notification that has title, body, and we add this data that it's a screen, user settings, user ID 123, so you can see how we could pass this kind of information to navigate or to do wherever you need. So that's why I wanted to show you the application running here in real time, so you could see, okay, I can go later with this project and see things. I'm going past the hour, but as we don't have questions, I just will go a little fast, but well, okay, we have now origin, title, message, and data. So I added a little CSS to explain things, but uh, this happens. Okay, so and here we have everything working. These screens are information for you to read and to study later, because are advanced things that I didn't have time to prepare for the 1 hour webinar, as you see. So every time a notification is sent from the server, Expo always listens for the response, and it has a ticket to understand. For every notification, it has a ticket that represents what happens with that notification, and later a receipt about what happens in the device. Okay, so for example, here's the definition. Push tickets. Each push ticket indicates whether Expo successfully received the notification, and when successful, a receipt ID to later retrieve a push receipt. When there is an error receiving a message, the ticket status will be error, and the ticket will contain information about the error and might not contain a receipt ID. More information about response in the document below. It's a copy paste from the documentation. This is like, okay, we add to the previous code where we were sending the push notification. We just add the let tickets array, and here we just retrieve, previously I named it receipt, but it's ticket chunk, and every ticket chunk is pushed to the ticket. So we have an ID of every for every notification sent to the device, what happens. So this should be having the, as you see, they have the ID, that would be the receipt ID. And later we have the push receipts. After receiving a batch of notification, Expo enqueues its notification to be delivered. Most notifications are typically delivered with a few seconds. Once Expo delivers a notifications to the iOS or Android push notification service, Expo creates a push receipt that indicates whether the iOS or Android push notification service successfully received the notification. If there was an error delivery notification, perhaps due to faulty credentials or service downtime, the push receipt will contain information about the error. We must check each push receipt, which may contain information about errors you need to resolve. For example, this is important. If a device is no longer eligible to receive notifications, Apple documentation asks you to stop sending notifications to that device. The push receipts will contain information about this error. So you have to manage when a user cancels the request of push notifications or uninstalls the application. So you are the person who has to manage this kind of thing. So here we have the code that it's added to read, here we have the Expo, the receive chunks. For every receive chunks, get push notification receipts and everything. If it's okay, everything is okay. If we have an error, there was a recent notification, and we can see the receipts, and we need to use FCM and more on this issue. This is what I told you before, that for seeing this, we would need to implement FCM or go into deeper things, because in my case, I didn't get the receipts. Maybe I didn't wait too much time for having this status receipt okay. But it's important that you have this information. Sorry for going fast here, but so meanwhile, if you have any questions at the end of the lesson, just write and or contact me through the Slack channel. I hope so. Okay, as always, the resources for the lessons is we have the push notifications Expo documentation official, documentation for the package Young Workspaces for Expo, the app stage documentation for React Native in Expo, some information about hooks in React, and of course the content of local notifications in Udacity Nanodegree URL, where you can see how to build those local notifications that we didn't see, because I wanted to show you a push notifications example and build it for you to have working. It's been an amazing time being your mentor. I will be checking on you over Slack. It's been amazing to create this webinar series, and I will leave them in YouTube until the team that says me that I can't have them publicly, but you have them available in a playlist. So any doubt, contact me through Slack, follow me on YouTube or in my email or Twitter. You have the Twitter in the beginning of the presentation. So as always, congratulations for the ones that have been graduated and you are part of the team. For the others, just we will have more time to complete the projects and ask me any doubt. Feel free to tell me what you thought about this nano or this webinar, sorry. And as always, thank you very much and stay audacious.